brain dead, eye drops, pain meds, Cyclops, day bed, iPod, Maybach, my buck, train wrecks, sidewalks, pay less, high tops, K-Fed, IHOP.
Yo, what is going on, people? It is Saturday night and next podcast is live. Guys, we have an awesome show for you guys tonight. Huge shout out to everybody in the chat coming in, checking out the show live, early and on time. I mean, we're only 3 minutes late right now. I mean, that is good for next podcast. Guys, this is a takeover episode, and on the request of our special guest, I will actually be introducing him last. So first we have to go through the crew, and my lights are flickering right now, so you know what that means. It is time for everybody out there to stand up, show that respect, kiss that ring, the Don!
What? Well, the Don?
Yeah, Don.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Who is the Don?
Don, are you there? Don?
Huh?
Don?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Next podcast, let's go.
Good job. Dude, are you like barbecuing or something, man? Yeah, I think everybody in the chat, you guys should start a revolution right now. Hashtag not my Don to the Don KTR on Twitter right now, man.
I don't know what you're talking about. Keep it rolling.
All right. Well, next on the list is the man who has saved the world so many times that I lost count on my fingers and toes. We know him here as the Angry Otter, but everybody out there on Twitter knows him as Dark Optimus. It's
All
just
right, then.
Should we start over?
Oh, my bad.
Oh, wow.
I didn't realize I was on mute.
guys, I have a feeling there's something against me right now with the panel.
My bad, bro.
This is how you troll the host. Look, everybody, this is how you troll the host. Take notes.
My bad, man.
There he is.
There he goes. Yep.
Can you guys hear me?
All right, yeah. No, Dark, we know about your internet troubles, and I'm telling you, you have to find another place to live. That's how it goes. But, man, I got to move on to... I'm just letting it roll right now. That's what I'm doing, yeah. Just letting it roll.
Internet.
Man, welcome to the zoo.
Yeah, I know,
Let's
right? Let's go on to the next man. Yo, this man is at every single podcast, whether he's in the chat or he is a special guest. He is that man that's just trying to get some respect for his gameplay. Predator!
What's going on, everybody? No gameplay this week. I've been busy working.
He
and
boycotted. That's what he did.
The house,
yeah.
and
Boycotted.
so we get to watch Xbox bullshit gameplay from last week when he shouldn't have won. So
you like that, though, right?
Y'all's fault for not voting for me.
It looks really good with the gold border and everything, man. My gameplay is looking nice right now, dude.
You know, it would look better if I won.
Wait, Bob won?
Yeah.
Is it a leap year?
See, I didn't even start the show rubbing it in on anybody, man. Like, that's...
I was in the lead for a while,
I'm just
and
moving.
then I lost it.
I'm just moving, yeah. Guys, next on the list, coming live from the 405, and I will say, he was in the hangout the earliest I have ever seen him tonight. My brother, K-Mega!
What's happening? What's going on, man? Again, I am letting these scoundrels have the opportunity to win yet another week because I don't have gameplay. Fred, you really messed up. I'm sorry about that. But when I definitely come back next week with that fire-ass gameplay, please, everybody hold on to your seats because I'm pretty sure you'll all be standing up, or if you're driving, you'll pull over if you could see
You know,
what magic I'll be bringing.
I gotta reach out there to the K Mega gameplay fans out there. You see what he's doing right now. If it were me, I would have gameplay for you guys. So I think you guys need to start switching your party and come over to the Xbot party and just start voting for Xbot when I got gameplay to vote for. I think that's what you guys should do, man.
I mean, what it really is that somebody has a job, and so somebody. You know what I'm saying?
It's called employment.
It's called employment.
Dude, I will let you know.
No gameplay for you.
Trying to run this show with these guys on this panel, it's a full-time job, people. It is a full-time job, yeah.
That part is true. But y'all, man, it's always happy to be here. Unfortunately, I won't be here all episode because I got to go do something else. I promised another person, our boy Blam. I'm going to be over there, but you know what I'm saying?
Not a good enough excuse.
No, I mean, a promise is a promise. I'm a dude that I don't break my word for nobody, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to be there.
It's all good, man.
Support.
Yo, the next podcast panel, we're about the community anyway, man. And I wouldn't expect you to say no or break your promise or anything like that. So
right.
But while you're here, we are gonna grill the shit out of you, man. I'm just saying, you and Dark, right?
And I'm happy that my boy Showstopper is back. He's resurrected himself. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The Xbox overlord. You know what I'm saying? Since well, Crap is the Xbox overlord, and I guess I should say Don is the guy with the pimp stick, and then we look at Showstopper is the Godfather. So it's all good. And then
Godfather, I like that, man.
Yeah, so it's all good, man. I'm happy for my brother to be back. And so,
let me give him the proper introduction, man. Let's get into this right now. He is a special guest. This is his show tonight. I am proud to introduce one of the most charismatic gaming YouTubers out there. I am glad he is back in the community. He is back with his channel. I am talking Showstopper.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Showstopper, man. And I'm back on another podcast. But I just want to sit here and say, since we do have the Kiss the Ring thing, only come kiss the ring, because Show is on a knockout tour. Let's do this thing.
Nice. Yo, Show, check this out. Before we get into the gaming news, man, because like you said, you came back to your channel. It's been a little while. I gotta ask, like, what have you been up to? And then I do have to ask, I think people out there want to know, what got you to come back? And I know you're going to be doing, like, streaming and stuff on your channel. What got you back to your channel and back to the community, man?
What got me back looking at everything, and just the thing that's going, I just didn't like. The trend now is it's easy for everybody to bash Xbox. You know what I'm saying? And just because you like a certain thing on another platform don't mean that everybody like that trash. You know what I'm saying? And what I like is what I like. And can't nobody tell me that their platform is hotter than what I'm on just because they have a little pony pickups. So it was just time for my voice to come back, to give a different perspective and change the narrative a little bit.
Nice, man.
And, I had to do that trash.
And I know you've been on BGST already. You jumped in on Xbox Nation. It is good to have you back. Like I said, you are one of the most entertaining gamers on YouTube. With the hoof clicking and all your crazy videos where you put it in, kind of like those little pictures here and there to describe what you're talking about, man. I am really, really excited to have you back, and this is your show. So there are a couple things I'm going to let the chat know. When it comes to a takeover, at any point in time, if Showstopper wants to change the topic, and he can change it to whatever he wants to talk about, that is his privilege in a takeover episode. He has a couple extra privileges as well. We'll see if he exercises any of this stuff, but we do have to get into the gaming news because there's been some pretty big things to talk about that happened throughout the week. I think we got to start with Inside Xbox. It was the big show. It was out there on everybody's Xbox. I think a lot of people in the community watched it. Showstopper, did you get a chance to watch Inside Xbox, man?
Yeah, I watched the announcement that whole Xbox thing, but I watched just the segment with Phil Spencer.
All right. Well, since you.
All
right.
I can keep going. I mean, if you want, with him announcing the show and the key and mouse board thing for Xbox. So those things I'm excited for, and those was.
All right, Show. I feel really bad. I gotta cut you off here though, because you started botting like crazy. So I don't know if possibly you want to jump out of the hangout and come back in. Usually that fixes it, and then people can really hear kind of like your opinions and everything, man.
Oh, okay. I got you. I'll be right back.
All right, bro. All right. On that note, we are going to go to the panel as well. Showstopper will be back in a second. When it comes to a live show, YouTube and the Hangout likes to do what it does, and we just try to do a quality show going through that. So let's get to K-Mega. K-Mega, did you get a chance to watch Inside Xbox, the announcements? I know they had the Game Pass games coming out in October, Games with Gold, of course, the XO event. Did you get a chance to watch this whole show?
Yes. Oh, and before I get started, wanted to give a big shout out to Tip. Saying to pay the bills for you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, thank you, brother.
Yeah. He sat there and he said, "What up, Xbox K-Mega Showstopper, the Don." You know what? I know it's you know what? You got to include Pred, but you could always avoid the Otter. You don't have to bring his name up.
Wow.
But you know what I'm saying? But yeah, he said, "What's up?"
There? Fit that all in with $2, man. That's what it was.
Disrespectful. Let that man spend that $2 because other people be cheap and do $1.98.
I'm here. I'm back. We good?
Man, you sound way better.
Nice. Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, bro.
You want him to finish, or you want it?
Yeah, we'll go back to show.
No, you can go ahead. Keep going. Don't ruin the show. Keep going.
All right, cool. Well, the show was cool. Of course, the big thing was talking about the XO event. Keyboard and mouse was to me that just brings more. That brings more excitement because that brings more different genre of games to come over to the Xbox that's on PC. Also, Dolby Vision, that sounded really dope. Especially for people that don't know how to calibrate their televisions. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like me. So basically, that would definitely help a lot. And just going all out with Forza. You know what I'm saying? I like that. I like Inside Xbox for that aspect. For whatever big game that's coming out for Xbox, they go all in for. That's something that we was asking for from them just a couple of years ago when we were over here seeing them going all crazy and showing love and support to Zelda and Horizon Zero Dawn. This is exactly what we've been asking for. So the show overall, it was, it had that little corny humor and stuff, but overall, I thought it was a good show, and it gave extras that I think that a lot of people could sink their teeth into. Maybe not every single thing, but at least there was something that people could gravitate to on the show.
All right. Now you said they went in on Forza, and I feel like they, the game's looking great. I still feel like Inside Xbox could be shorter by like a half hour. I feel like they go kind of overboard on whatever like main topic they have, because they'll do the main topic, then they'll do something small to do a little thing, go back to the main topic, do something small, go back to the main topic. And with me personally, I feel like that whole thing, it could have been shorter. But they did announce a bunch of things like the XO, the mouse and keyboard, and Mega. Yeah. On the side that you said, I'm with you on. Like on the side that it'll bring like those PC games over to Xbox, have that functionality there for the developers to put in. I do have some concerns moving into the future, but
what concerns do you got?
Yeah, I don't want to play Halo multiplayer against mouse and keyboard.
Oh, don't start that.
I am starting that.
Listen. Phil already came and addressed that. He already addressed it. He said, he's not going to give them an advantage for playing mouse and keyboard. So either you're going to play with a controller or you're going to play the game with a mouse and keyboard. It's not going to be the cross action like that.
Now, see, I don't remember. I don't remember Phil saying that, but I do remember Mike Ibarra.
He came and he addressed it, and he sat there and said is up to the developers, but we're not going to give an advantage. We're not going to give an advantage to mouse and keyboard players. The purpose for it being on Xbox was to for those games that's on PC that we have not received yet, or that we can get to port over. We'll be able to play them that only support mouse and keyboard.
Right.
So I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a thing where they get an advantage through crossplay and all that little stuff. No,
right. And I think it's
you know what I'm saying. It's either going to be a controller or it's going to be or it's going to be mouse and keyboard. You're only going to be able to have that option. Whoever on mouse and keyboard, everybody got to be on mouse and keyboard.
All right, check this out.
It's not going to be whatever you choose.
I got to give a shout out to Tip Diamond, who again came in on that super chat. Thank you, brother. He was like, sup, Predator and Otter. He's like, I hope I spelt your name right. So, yeah, after everything that was said, he brought in the other two as well, and we have the whole panel.
Yeah, so fuck you, K-Mega.
That was the clearest I ever heard Otter on the show, man. I swear.
Man, that's disrespectful. But also, there was one thing that Delilah, she was really stoked about last night on GRG about, there was a little indie game. It looked really good. I couldn't tell you what the name of it was, but she was stoked about
that Hollow
Hollow something.
Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight, yeah, she was really stoked about that. And that, again, that's maybe not on a lot of people's radar, but it caught her attention. So that means that caught a lot of other gamers' attention. So the show is beneficial. The more you watch Inside Xbox, I think it has something for a little bit of everybody. It may not be somebody that want to sit all the way through it, but they have different segments that you can watch on YouTube, so you can see that you can whet your palate to. That's what it's good for the Xbox gamer out there that just isn't familiar what's going on and they don't pay attention to the crumb side bullshit and all of that. They just want to know what's going on with the Xbox.
Nice, man. Now, Show, you were talking about what you saw so far, and you know, we've had quite a few episodes of Inside Xbox now. So, you know, let me know what you think about the show, because, like I said, you were breaking up before. But let me know, do you think Inside Xbox has shown people what kind of show this is going to be, kind of like moving forward? And is this something that, you know, you're going to be looking forward to watch, you know, when it comes up, man?
I never been like gravitate to because game that they talking about, like, you know, if it's Forza, they'll play that throughout the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that new for me. It's just the same show for seeing and on. That's when I'm mostly tuning into it, but I really don't go to it every week like that. I just don't appease to me, for real.
All right, I got you, man. I got you. And
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. It's just I hate to be like the sad one on that. It's just not something that I look forward to every week. You know what I'm saying? Unless they announcing something, you know what I'm saying, then I'm excited about it. But you know, if they not really announcing anything, it's just talking about little segments, I'm kind of cool with it. I just don't have enough time in my day to really watch it like that religiously, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I kind of just stay away from it. Yeah.
All right, I got you.
I'm being real.
I know that's your gameplay show. I know that's.
What's that?
Oh man, no horse.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my gameplay right there. Yep, it sure is. Oh man, he pulled it off. Oh my God, watch your work. Watch your work. Bip. Let's go.
Yo, guys, since we're you know, bringing it to the gameplay real quick, I want to let people know in the chat that at the end of the show, you will be able to vote for who you think had the best gameplay.
Oh, you should have got some of my other stuff. Is this my Halo?
Yeah, well, dude, Halo, Xbox, it's a no-brainer right there, brother. No-brainer, man.
I'm trying to see if this is me.
Yeah, no, it's you. If you notice in the top right-hand corner, and everybody watching in the chat, top right-hand corner shows whose gameplay this is. You'll see their icon up there right now. You're watching Showstoppers. You'll be able to vote between Showstopper,
laying them down. Let's go.
The Angry Otter, and who else? Oh yeah, Don and K Mega tonight. So those are the four.
This is my old stuff. You said you saw my old stuff. Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
no,
is
I'm
my
putting
old
it up.
stuff too. So
I'm putting it up.
don't hear hate.
It's all going up, guys. It's all going up, man.
Well, that's
All
cool.
right.
That's cool. All right.
But yo, let's move on to the next person. Let's hit the Angry Otter real quick. I want to hear what he thinks about the Inside Xbox, the show in general. I feel like it's gaining an identity now. I feel like people know, kind of like what to expect from this. There's no overhyping it or whatnot. But I want to hear what the Otter has to say about this.
Yeah, man, it was one of their better shows, to be honest. Like they've actually stepped up their game and made a show that I can actually watch and listen to. For the most part, I listened to it. They had a lot of Forza stuff, which I enjoyed. Like hearing about Forza Horizon 4 was amazing. Like just to hear like all the good stuff that it was about it. The whole mouse and keyboard, you guys know how I feel on that. If you listen to TSGP, you know how I feel on that. You
don't like mouse and keyboard?
I'm not adamant about it at all. I'm just
He has carpal tunnel. That's why.
I have I have my concerns.
He has three fingers like a sloth.
Hey, man.
It's really just one click. I mean, what's wrong?
I mean, it's
Your
not.
index finger ain't short?
It's not really about the mouse and keyboard. I think it's more about the games. Like, if the games are coming, like that are coming from PC, are we still going to be able to play them on our controllers as well? I mean, yeah, there are going to be games out there that you're not going to be able to play on with a controller, like WoW or whatever,
Right.
or things like that. Like, you're not going to be able to do it, but like, hopefully, they allow some of those games to be, controller, friendly.
Yeah, I think what Phil was sitting here saying with it is certain games is just only mouse and keyboard.
Right.
That's on PC. And that's how the developer made it. You know what I'm saying? Then it's games that support controller and that. So I think you had an option. But
Right.
it depends on what games they're trying to port over. But if it's only mouse and keyboard, then it's only mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, and I look at that and I think to myself, like, it'll suck because I know we get a lot of gripe from the PlayStation crowd and other crowds that say that the Xbox has no games, and it's like, well, now we're starting to get games, but then it's like we're gonna have to play with a mouse and keyboard. Like, if I want to play with a mouse and keyboard, I'll just play it on my computer. I'm not gonna sit there and play it on my console. Like, it's just I get the whole having the options and stuff. I mean, I'm all for options, but it's like, come on, man. Like, I don't want to play on a mouse and keyboard.
You
on
act
my
like
console.
that you're going like we're going to be playing Forza and you got to play it on
Forza, yeah.
like you're going to be playing on the mouse and keyboard. I don't.
No, it's just an option.
You don't know,
do
man.
that.
Maybe one day they will do that.
Oh, no.
Man, many
Like,
controllers
no,
in there, man.
you
They ain't doing that
don't
shit.
really know.
You know how
Hey,
how many
bro,
You don't know what
joysticks out here?
Microsoft is doing over there.
Hey man, I think
Yeah.
that our boy Otter was one of the people in Y2K that was putting up tinfoil up on his.
Yeah, dude, I had my tinfoil hat
around the
on.
windows. Come on.
Yeah, tinfoil underwear. Yeah.
No, to get back on the Inside Xbox. I mean, the whole, to get away from the whole controller, mouse, and keyboard thing.
Yeah, 'cause
I
there
was
more to the
really
show than
surprised.
that.
I was really surprised about the XO announcement. I was all like, dang, I have to admit I was wrong. I didn't think they were actually going to do something like that this year at all. Like, I was just like, nah, it's not going to happen. I think if anything, I thought maybe it would happen next year, but they pulled one out of the park and said, hey, we're gonna have an XO event this coming in November, which is fantastic. I mean, hopefully they announce some games there. Hopefully, hopefully it's first party stuff. Of course they're gonna probably have some third party games, probably their marketing supported games. But it was fantastic to hear that they're gonna have a show.
But like all in all, when it comes to Inside Xbox, I think I'm talking about the show in general, and then we're gonna break certain things down like XO and stuff like that. What was the show enjoyable to you? Did you think the pacing was good? I think they shared a lot of information.
Honestly, it was the most enjoyable Inside Xbox to date.
I think they hit a stride, man.
It's besides the one that was at what was it?
Gamescom?
At Gamescom, yeah.
Yeah,
those two right there have been the better ones.
Now, see, with me, the way I'm looking at it is, having those shows kind of like back to back or whatever. It seems like they're hitting a stride. The show's getting an identity. It's there's people that they're not guessing, wondering what to expect. They kind of know the parameters of the announcements and stuff like that. I enjoyed the show. The only thing I thought was with Forza Horizon 4, I do love what they showed, but I felt like they just sprinkled it in sections, and it kind of dragged it out a little bit in my opinion, man. But yo, Predator, what did you think about the show in general? Like, did you get a chance to watch the whole thing, man?
I didn't get a chance to watch the whole show. I did get bits and pieces of it. It's like every time I turned it on, they were talking about Forza, and I was like, hey, I already know I'm going to get that, so I don't need to watch that. So,
that's what I mean. I mean, it's like they beat it hard throughout the whole show.
But that's been the MO for every event they've done like this. When they have a game out, like when they did Sea of Thieves, it was heavy Sea of Thieves, and when they had State of Decay, it was heavy State of Decay. So I was kind of expecting to be a heavy dosage of Forza anyway. So I'm glad they got another show coming at the end of the year. I think that's a plus. I know we'll get into that later, so I won't touch on it right now. I thought it was a decent show. I kind of jumped in right when they were talking about the mouse and keyboard and stuff. I saw Phil's part. I made sure to tune in for that because I wasn't expecting him to come on, to be honest with you.
I tagged K Mega as soon as they said Killer Phil. Like, I tagged K Mega to let him know that Killer Phil was going to be on the show. He responded too on Twitter. So
yeah, that's that's
kind of like the bad signal. I was at work and I was riding, and all of a sudden I seen the Killer Phil sign in the sky. I said, "Oh shit!"
Hey, I like how revved up the quiet Xbox brothers had got. Well, they got their chests out. They've been on Twitter snapping. Hey man, been snapping, bro. Well, we got games coming. I'm like, dang.
I will say this though, like what I didn't like was the fact that Phil was out there. I thought he was gonna come out with something bigger than another show. I thought he was gonna announce something a little bit bigger than just that. I thought it would have been a little bit more. I don't know, a little bit more.
The mouse and keyboard thing is pretty huge to him and Mikey Barr. Let's be real. Like, we know how much they play on PC as well as their Xbox. So to him, that was a really big announcement, letting people know that computer games like was it like Age of Empires and stuff like that have a possibility.
And you know what? Had he announced that would have been different. He just said we're bringing mouse and keyboard soon, and didn't announce any games they were going to bring with it. I think that's what I'm talking about. Like, he should have announced something along with
more. It should have went along.
Well, he made it very clear what game it's in beta form right now. So it's with one particular game. Always forget the name of the game. It's a free to play game. And that's how they're going to start off, and then they're going to kind of go from there.
Yeah, Civilizations, Age of Empires will finally come, and hopefully we might get some of that Gears of War Tactics. Because it was slated to just be on PC, but this is an opportunity for that to definitely come over.
I will be happy for anybody who wants to play those, but as far as I am concerned, I will pass them to the left, man. You guys can enjoy those. I will pass them to the left. But yo, Don, what did you get a chance to watch the whole show? You're usually in this. You did, because you're usually in the same boat with Predator. You like watch bits and pieces, so you got to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, well, I watched bits and pieces because it's hard to get stomach at times. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Don't make fun of my boy AC Bongos, by the way. He is
no. Well, no, they did everything I really wanted them to do, which was shorten it up. It was shorter than they have been in the past. Give it more structure, like segments, is what I mentioned. So if it's something that someone's not interested in, they can tune out and look forward to whatever the next thing they're going to get to. Less Gooner stuff at the end where it goes for way too long. In regards to that, and it looks like one of the good people in our chat told it was Warframe. That's the game that's going to start up with mouse and keyboard, just so everyone knows. So, and I like everything they had to announce. I'm excited for everything they're doing. EXO, that one I actually had to look up. I didn't know what EXO was, to be honest with you. So. But and I was a little bummed that it's in Mexico, but at the same token, like, there's a huge amount of fans there, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be in the same place every time. So they're going to spread it out. So which is I think it's the right thing to do at the end of the day. What?
Yeah, nothing, man. Nothing.
Oh man,
it had nothing to do with you, man.
Oh, I just finally saw the stream. I get it now.
Yeah. yo, like I said, man, I try to think of a way to make this show, like when I do takeovers, to make this show like yours. So I hope you like kind of like the production that's going on here, man.
Oh yeah.
But, all right.
Yeah, I thought
that was slick, man. I like it. I enjoy it.
All right, well, check this out. Since everybody, kind of touched on this whole thing, Phil Spencer announced in November basically an Xbox only show. It's XO 2018. It is a show that they have done in the past. When Phil was announcing it, he did say this is the show that they announced that they were acquiring Rare. I've seen the community go out and make predictions, like crazy predictions about what we're gonna see here, and I'm interested to hear what the panel has to say. So I don't know. Let's get with Showstopper. The announcement, XO, man. What do you think? A yearly event? You think they're gonna go all out? You're just gonna get announcements of games and studios? What are you thinking this show is gonna consist of?
This is a show. I'm gonna say this. This is a show that Microsoft really needs to take advantage of.
Yeah.
And I don't care if the game is coming out in the X2 or whatever, but you need to announce and show some things that y'all studios been working on. This would be a good opportunity for them to show what they've been working on, to get people excited about things to come. One thing I can say, Sony does a good job at that. Like, they announce games like the Ghost game everybody talking about. That might not come out until the PS5, but because of the pushbacks, it'll still be supported on the PS4, but it might come out once the PS5 hit. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. They put these games out in the head, and it gets Sony dudes a lot of ammunition, and they brag about the stuff and everything like that. I just want to see some things that they just been working on. So for me, that show would be beneficial when I see just the stuff that they've been working on, and if they announce a studio or not, I'll be excited about that too.
No.
So it's just little things like that, man. I'm not going head over heels sitting here saying like a game or something like that. Just show me what you've been working on. That's all I really want.
Now, show.
And I'm simple.
I gotta ask you this, because people are talking about studios. Xbox, they acquired 5 studios. Ninja Theory being one of them, Playground Games being another.
Yeah.
They announced 5 studios. Do you feel like they need to announce more like this soon? Because I know they're going multiple, they have multiple projects going on between these studios. Do you think they should announce more right now?
It depends on their vision and what they're trying to accomplish. It's a lot of people out of work. So if you can acquire another and put 100 to 200 people on the teams to work on multiple different things, I'm all for it.
Nice.
I'm all for it. I would not say no to none of that, because that's more for me. You know what I mean? I'm selfish that way. You know what I mean? So the more studios, I need that in my life. You know what I'm saying? So hey, it's a good thing, man. That's a great thing. So hopefully they do announce more studios.
Yeah, I feel like you made a great point with what is going on with Telltale and Capcom Vancouver with these studios closing down. There's a lot of people out there looking for jobs, so that would make sense, man. And I haven't heard anybody.
That would make sense.
I haven't heard anybody take that position. But let's go down the panel here. Let's start with Predator. Predator XO. What do you think? Are they are you predicting that they're gonna blow the roof off of this? I like Showstopper said this is Xbox's chance to really show something. Are you in that boat, man?
Yeah, I think if they're gonna announce a show this magnitude, they actually need to bring the heat on the show versus, I don't want another, whatever the fuck the shit is they do monthly now,
Inside Xbox.
Yeah, Inside Xbox. You're gonna have. Keep in mind they have Inside Xbox, which is I believe is monthly.
They have the weekly show. Yeah,
and then they're gonna have this huge show now that they're gonna move around from place to place. So if they're gonna continue to keep the weekly show the way it is, and Inside Xbox, as boring as it can be sometimes, the way it is, they're gonna make this big ass event. They have to bring something to this event. So especially with the end of the year coming up, with nothing else really coming on the horizon except for Crackdown. This is your opportunity to show that game and maybe announce some studios and kind of give us a little insight on what's going to happen between that show and E3 to kind of give us an idea of what we're going to have coming down the pipe. Because like right now, you know, it's just been like quiet. You know we got some studios. We don't know what games they're coming with, you know, that kind of deal. So show us a little bit of something, especially gameplay wise, of some of the games that are coming, like Ashen. Or release dates for games,
and
like
this is the show. This is the show to do that for.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not, you know, because they don't like to show. They don't like to show things far out at E3. They like to show it from year to year. So if you're gonna use E3 for that, use this show to sit here and show what you've been working on. That's all I'm saying. This show should be showing us the progress of what you've been working on.
Yo,
you know, and that should be a great.
I brought that up on Crossfire yesterday, man, and I swear Crap Gamer got on my ass because I was like, I'm gonna go into EXO with like lowered expectations because of what I've seen from like inside Xbox and stuff like that. He's like, nah, man, this is the time for everybody to get incredibly hyped, man, and stuff. And I realize this is their chance to really show something. But I feel like if I go there with lowered expectations and then they blow the roof off, I'm going to be that much more hyped after the show. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I learned a long time ago not to set myself up like that. Hey, that gut shot going to be mean, boy. You remember, I don't know if y'all remember the old BGST, man. Me and Next Gen, we sat here and we were excited about the Madden game. And it came to be like a cell phone game, man. And then it wasn't even coming.
Joe Montana.
It was Joe Montana football.
The Joe Montana, yeah. Hey, man, we was juiced about that trash. We were like, Xbox gonna show Joe Montana, and we got revved up for that trash, man. And then next thing you know, nope.
Yeah,
it was like nope.
We haven't talked a lot since then, but guess what? I want to let you know, you guys got me hyped up for that too, man. So when that news dropped and it fell through, I fell through with you guys. I just want to let you know that, man.
Hey, man, it hit my chest. Boy, I was like, oh, that hurt.
That hoof in your chest.
And man, it burned. Boy, I was like, God. That was fire to the chest.
Oh man,
it was a cell phone game, man. I was like, oh man, they went this way with this trash, bro.
Especially with Joe Montana being up there on Xbox campus, man. Yep. That was a swerve right there, man. But Dark, man, what do you think about the EXO? Do you what are your predictions high? Is your hype level high? Are you kind of in Showstopper's boat here? This is a place that they can really go in. I also like what Show said about, you know, Phil. He wants to keep E3 for that 12 to 18 month window, so they can use EXO to really go in on like future projects and stuff like that. Do you think that could happen with this show, man?
Yeah, I think that they'll definitely go, you know, into more of the you know, whatever marketing, third-party marketing deals that they have. I think they'll go into, you know, some of their exclusive, you know, first-party stuff. I don't think they'll do it every year. I kind of feel like they'll probably, you know, do it maybe every other year or something like that.
They said yearly, right? And
did they say yearly?
I believe
so. Yeah.
I believe they said yearly, but then again, so did Sony, and that's another thing we're gonna get into later. So,
right.
So
I mean, I wouldn't really put my money on them doing it every year, because I mean, if you do it every year, you're gonna have to have games to really show off there, unless you're gonna be like it was in 2013 where you're showing off
maybe
TV.
That's why that drought was there in the first place. Maybe this is kind of all part of the roadmap.
Right, that's
right,
what
exactly.
Do. So I mean, that's how big companies work. They have roadmaps. I mean, they're not very reactionary, like we would be or anything like that. So
right.
So that's why trends come and go. Like, you know, you see Sony on top for a minute, then Microsoft be on the bottom, and then it kind of goes in a cycle like that, where you know Sony ain't gonna have games probably coming next year. You know what I'm saying? They don't bust their gun now, and then Microsoft can come in and you see what I'm saying? And it'd be the same thing, the same stupid stuff going on over and over again. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and
We good.
what's up, Dark?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, all right, my bad. Yeah.
I think Showstopper said we're eating good.
Oh, we're eating good. Yeah, we're eating good right now.
Yeah,
but,
all right,
yo,
we good. And then keep moving.
But the Sony, the kind of like Sony tradition is like when they do come out with hardware, they don't really have a lot in the beginning, and we've seen it a couple generations in a row, and it looks like it's going to be the same way, you know, possibly going into the PlayStation 5. But yo, Mega, what do you think about the XO show? Like, what are you hyped for this? Are you thinking that it's going to be that blow the roof off event? You know, said it's their time, man. They could do something serious here. You think this is what the show is going to be?
Yeah, I mean, I personally just think that this is exactly the whole reason why they brought up XO. If you remember, Phil did say that XO is when they had XO back in the days, they talked about how they acquired Rare. So if you pay attention to how some of the Xbox staff gives out like in-the-window messages, that was kind of like one of those messages to say, look, hey, this is where we made our announcement about Rare being acquired. So, hey, pay attention to this because there's going to most likely be another acquirement coming on this show. I mean, and it was hype. They did talk about moving it around. That's amazing. Once it comes to Texas, Kansas, or somewhere close by Oklahoma, then I'm right there on it. So it's like, you know, I mean, you know, Mexico.
Are those third world countries? What are you listing?
Hey, I got a question for the panel. I got a question for the panel.
Utah, bro. Come on.
Go ahead.
I got a question for everybody in here. What studios would y'all would like for them to acquire if
Sega.
they do acquire anybody?
Sega.
Obsidian.
Remedy and Obsidian.
I said Remedy too, but anybody else in here?
Yeah, well,
okay.
Show now you asked that question, but I gotta ask you: is this like realistic, or you know, things that we think can be acquired, but like maybe a dream kind of like acquisition, man?
Dream acquisition.
Sega all day, dude. Come on.
Oh
man.
yeah, that would be Capcom for me.
Yeah.
Capcom.
Yeah.
I would definitely have to go Capcom. Yeah.
Capcom over
Man.
Sega, really?
Yeah.
Dude, there are so many IPs from Sega, man. Oh.
I mean, if you're talking about Dream, I mean, let's go big. EA. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's do
that was a rumor at one point, man.
Yeah. I know. That's what I'm saying. Let's do it big. Let's go big with it.
And you know, and when you're looking at numbers and dollar signs and stuff like that, EA can be acquired, man. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you know, that was the big rumor. So I mean, we know that's not happening, but it's still, you know, if you're gonna talk about fantasy, I mean, having EA on your squad plus the fact that all of those games.
You just want first party Madden, man. Is what you want.
I want them to, every time that those PlayStation dudes go ham about exclusives and multiplats and all this, I'm gonna say Microsoft has just told you to pay me. You know what I'm saying? Pay the man. And you know why it's really funny, because so many people is hyped for Spider-Man, and while Xbox staff came out and they said, you know, congratulations on the success of Spider-Man, but you know the real reason why is because Spider-Man used the Havoc engine, and so the Microsoft is like, yeah, keep selling those, baby, because we own Havoc engine. Thank you, Spidey.
Yo, guys, just real quick.
So hold on, Spider-Man used the Havoc engine on that?
Yeah.
You know how many games use Havoc?
Stop it! I gotta look.
Yeah, go look it up. Go look it up.
I didn't think they did. I thought they used some other physics.
No, you can almost tell by the ragdoll physics. Like there is signatures to the Havoc. Yo, Don, am I right on that?
Yeah, they do have their own unique look. It depends on how you set up the physics, but
you can tell when you knock a thug out in Spider-Man, you can tell that's Havoc. But yo, check this out.
I gotta check, because normally they put Havoc on the game. I ain't paid attention. So
yeah, they usually do it on
a
a splash screen when you the game, right? So I mean,
right.
I mean, it's really the two big ones right now. NVIDIA's got an engine that they license out even on non-NVIDIA hardware when it's talking about consoles, and then Havoc's the other big one. So
yeah, the big one. Yeah.
All right, guys, I need to give a huge shout out to a huge supporter of this show, of this channel, Jesse. Yo, thank you for hitting up the super chat. I really, really do appreciate it. Guys, moving on from there, you know, talking about XO and everything, Sony has come out and basically said, I believe it was yesterday, their like yearly show, the PlayStation Experience, is actually canceled this year. So this is like a weird turn of events, in my opinion. You have Xbox, who they didn't have this yearly show this entire generation, coming up with one this year, and then PlayStation cancels theirs. And I don't know, they said that they just don't have a lot to show to justify an event. And to me, that's kind of weird, because they showed up at E3 for a 45-minute show, for like a 55-minute show, and stuff like that. So, yo, let's go to the Don here. Don, what do you think about this whole PlayStation thing? There's rumors that they're not doing it this year, because basically after like Ghosts and Last of Us 2, like they're looking towards PS5. They're not ready to go into that realm yet and to show that stuff. Do you think that's why they canceled the show this year?
All I know is I can hear people already saying, your console's got no shows, right? Like, that's going to be the next narrative that we're going to hear about. And it's just, like, I'm just trying to brace myself for the logic.
That's when you're in a permanent facepalm, like, the first time you hear that.
Hey, you heard it here first. See if you hear come up in the wild out there.
Yeah,
don't be a part of that crew. Don't be those guys.
No.
I think if you don't have anything at the show, then why do you charge a bunch of people to sit and then play kind of like an E3 type experience? You're not giving them something special. I mean that's just kind of fair, is the way I look at it. And that goes with Xbox, right? They haven't had a show for a long time either. But we look back, I mean, what type of show could they even have? Like, they couldn't have anything. So for them to have people take time out of their day, especially their fans, they're some of their most loyal, and not have an experience that should be lived up to, these companies are doing the right thing. Both of them are, to be honest with you. You have stuff to show, you show it. But if you don't, you don't.
The last show was a ripoff. I mean, it was just a couch, them sitting on that bad baby, and it was just talking. It was just god awful, and they ain't really have nothing to show then. So I see why they doing it.
Yeah.
It just don't make sense.
I gotta say, and I'm gonna open this up to everybody on the panel. Nobody, like, the way I'm looking at it is they announced that they're gonna do this show on a yearly basis. Like, I feel like they canceled it. That's poor planning on their part, and in my opinion,
they ran out of stuff. They burnt the camera.
That's letting.
But you know what?
Down,
you know what? I'm gonna tell you something, Dom. This is the real reason right here. He didn't want to make good on his promise. Remember, he promised.
That's harsh. That's harsh. I don't think that's really the case, but I get the joke.
Hey, I got a joke. I'm throwing it out there. He didn't want to make good on his promise, He sat there and said the name, you could be able to change your name come the next show. So what they did, they canceled that trash.
No, for real.
Yeah, I do forget about that.
But,
it's definitely Showstopper's Takeover. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey guys, I gotta
y'all.
run, man. I gotta run.
All right,
man.
CK, man.
Yeah, I gotta get out of here.
We'll see you on Forza later.
Yeah, I'll see y'all.
All right,
and
All right,
maybe
brother.
slip me in some Soul Calibur since that beta is out.
Yeah, I'm not doing your outro for you, man. I'm just letting you know that right now.
Come on, man. You got to do that. Anyway,
No.
I'll just say it right fast. Hey, check out just real quick. Check out the GRG podcast every Friday night after Crossfire. Big shout out to Intro Media Gaming. Do my thing on BGST, and of course, you see me here on Next every Saturday. So, man, everybody have a good one. Peace.
All right, later, Mega.
All right, y'all.
But yo,
my God.
I
But I had to throw that in there, man. That's funny.
Yo, dude, that's hilarious. But I'm kind of in a boat similar to that. I know it was a joke, but to me, like, I feel like that was poor planning on Sony's part. If they're going to announce that they're doing a show year over year and then cancel it, and nobody's out there saying anything about, like, well, damn, now I'm disappointed. Where's my show? You know what I'm saying? To the consumers that get hyped up for that yearly event. And I want Xbox to take notice as well, because if they're gonna plan a yearly show, they have a whole year to plan for that show. You see what I'm saying?
I think they were leading up to this, and that's why I don't think this was like a mistake, right? Like they're like, you know, should we do it? Should we not? No, they planned out their E3. They held off announcements for the longest time. Even with the biggest fans, just kind of, you know, being impatient about it, and this is all part of the plan that they had leading up to this. And you know, I think the whole point of this is keeping everything relevant, keeping that steady pace is the general idea. I mean, if you look at the monthly, you know, they have the weekly show, they have a monthly show, they have a yearly show for the fans. They're probably going to continue to do Fan Fest at E3, I would imagine, in regards to all that sort of stuff. Their acquisitions, you know, regardless of the rumors of acquisitions at EXO or whatever, but currently right now their acquisitions are high. We keep hearing about how much they're hiring. They've been doing that for a year prior to this, just so everyone knows. And they really have been stepping up. So I mean, you know, it's really just kind of you set the pillars in and it's ready to go. They're not burning the candles at both ends. Where Sony was, you know, you always would see at the PSX is we would see a new CG trailer each time now.
I like
and
those.
It became less gameplay and more CG trailer. That means that
CG trailers,
yeah. I mean that's stuff
like
way out. It's way out.
Yeah,
it's not coming anytime. And you know what? Last E3 they didn't really give release dates. You know, it didn't even say coming in this year or nothing. It just
they're leaving that
was just
stuff really vague.
Vague, very vague.
The way Sony operates though is they tend to, you know, this is where they do really, really well, and this comes from their kind of movie and entertainment background, and like, you know, just even music. Is they're not afraid to spend double down on more money and give things more time.
Gotcha.
And so I think that's just kind of how those guys are. But with that, you know, you should do a show every year. You don't have the content to do it, and you start doing more and more CG. And you know, I don't care for CG. I want to see actual games.
But see, you know what the funny thing? That's what I want to see from Microsoft at the XO event.
Games.
What they've been working on.
Yeah.
Like, give me something that you've been working on. I don't want them to announce something that's like coming like right now. I'm just saying, just show us what you've been working on.
Give us something to be
excited about. That's all I'm saying.
Fellas, I gotta head out. Sorry.
Oh man,
right
just
now.
me showing Xbot.
Yeah, that's it, man.
And
Oh,
Pred,
man,
and Pred. We got
Pred's
Pred.
there. Pred's there.
Pred's still here.
Yeah,
And then there was 4.
The cream of the crop rises to the top, and that's what you're seeing right now, people.
All right, fellas.
Okay.
Have a good
Go make your
rest of the
cornflakes.
show.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys next week.
Yo,
Here we go. I'm gonna use my any topic.
all right, what's your any topic, man? What's going on, yo?
Let's talk about backwards compatibility.
Okay. What do you want? What do you want to talk about with it?
I just want to touch on it just a little bit. I sit here and I believe that Sony shot themselves in the foot with backwards compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why. I think it's harder for them to do it because of how the PlayStation 3 was developed for with the cell processor.
Yeah.
Now, Dom, I know is you a developer, Dom?
Yes, I have that background. So go ahead.
Okay,
What
I'll
games
let
have
you
you
go
worked on, Don?
So, because of how hard it was to develop for
him or DON.
Don.
Okay.
So you know, for the cell processor, it was very hard for developers to develop for that particular. So it's kind of hard to emulate it. You know, and what Sony had.
The two are separate. Like, so I mean, just the way the cell processor was, it's the architecture is really different than what we have in our current consoles right now.
Right.
So, you know, in a lot of ways, people don't realize this. The Xbox 360 processor had some similarities to the cell processor, but it was a lot simpler to code for. It was a lot easier to get what you wanted out of the system. So it was kind of just streamlined, and that's the reason why, you know, Xbox was able to get it to be back compat on the Xbox One. But even that,
Gotcha.
that's not a small task, even for that, right? So you know, it's a possibility of backwards compatibility with the PlayStation after this, because the CPUs are going to get more powerful. Just
so you saying that even with the cell processor, the way them games was developed on that, they'll be able to bring those games over, or are they going to have to really invest a lot of money into it, like Microsoft is doing, and do a handful at a time?
Money. It's not going to be done for free, right? So they're going to have to put the time and the money and the effort into it. But if someone asks me, and it's always software, so like you never know, right? Like there's always people a lot smarter in those categories than I am. But the harsh reality, you're probably not going to get back compat PS3 on current PlayStation 4 or Pro. Is it possible on PS5? Yeah, if the CPU get more powerful enough, and then yeah, in theory you could do 3 emulation. You could do it.
Yeah,
but because they answer for it was the SoC, which was the system on a chip. And remember when the PlayStation 3 came out, and they dropped the whole PlayStation 2 inside the PlayStation 3, and that's why the PlayStation 3 cost it so much. It cost it $600 because they had the whole catalog of PlayStation 2 dropped in that bad baby.
It was physical hardware in there. It wasn't.
It was physical hardware. Yeah, right. So that was the route they was going. They didn't go the emulation route the way Microsoft, because that takes time, that takes money. Exactly. And it was even Yoshida came out and said it was hard to do. Because I guess because of the cost wise. So my question is, you do think they're going to invest that money now, or is they going to go still the same way with the chip, and then you just have to pay for it?
I don't think they're going to go to the chip and then pay for it. I think they would price themselves out doing that. They would have to do emulation, I would say, at this point. And a lot of the pressure from, and this is all hearsay, is my opinions, but a lot of pressures from developers is they're the whole ones that push the x86. So that's why we have it on current consoles today, or one of the reasons. And they're continuing to push. That's what they want. They want x86 architecture. So if you give the developers what they want, usually you get better games. So that's the perceivable direction we're going forward. And AMD is doing the hardware for both new consoles. So that's what they do, is that type of technology. So
yeah, all right. So if I can chime in here, when it comes to backwards compatibility, what I think happened here, I think Xbox, when Phil taking over the reins, they looked at certain things, and they looked at what they might have an advantage on to put money into, right? And I feel like Xbox decided, backwards compatibility, it's very, pro gamer, pro consumer, everything like that, and they felt like they had an advantage here with the PS3 having, the cell CPU in it. So I feel like they're like, you know what, we're gonna invest time, effort, and money to get this going somehow, some way. And with Microsoft, Xbox, they are software people, and they created this emulator, and they did a great job with it. But I feel like they thought it was an advantage they had over Sony. And at that point, because we're getting hit with resolution wars, we're getting hit with so many things out here in the gaming industry that that Xbox was getting hit for left and right. They're like, we're gonna start investing in our advantages right now, and I think backwards compatibility was one of the first things, and I think it was a home run, man. I feel like it was a home run. People love.
Yeah, I mean they had backwards compatibility for the Xbox One already in mind for the 360.
It was
what
partial.
happened?
It was partial. So it was 2 different graphic processors that they did between the 2.
Right. And what happened?
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Because I was going. Then you could chime in.
No.
What happened? What happened between the 2? When Don Matrix came out and he did his thing, Microsoft had to take a lot of that stuff out. You know what I'm saying? If you was an early adopter, there was a lot of stuff missing in that Xbox One in the early on, and they had killed off a lot of that stuff. And Phil started hiring those people back and started putting it back in, and they had to re it back up again. But go ahead and say what you were saying.
Oh well, on that front, if you're talking about Xbox One, I feel like there was a redirection with Magic. right? There was the whole entertainment route that they were doing. So it wasn't just like entertainment TV, like that whole meme that we've seen. It really was they're investing dollars in a new Kinect. They were investing dollars in actual film production type stuff. Like they're basically redistributing the money that would have gone to some of these other things that gamers would care about into things that really weren't truly like gamer type things.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's where all that stuff is. I think a lot of times there's always stuff like at a big company, there's always stuff on the table where they want to do.
Yeah.
But, I keep saying, companies have roadmaps. So they have a bunch of cool ideas they want to implement, but they have to stay, within their budget. They want to make sure that they're making their quarterly earnings how they want to. And then they have a plan when they're going to double down on their investments, whatever those investments are. So, things like back and pat and stuff like that, I think it's something that they had, because I think Phil hinted at it. He, people were working on it, and then they just pretty much one day said, okay, now I'm going to lock you guys in a room, and this is what you guys are going to do. I'm not having you
going to do,
else. You were going to have you work on
that's when he brought them back, yep.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
They were always there. They were just working on other projects.
How does Daz hear every time I vape? I swear, like, I try to be as quiet as possible here, yo. Like,
you need that new coil that I sent you.
are you sending me gifts, dude?
No.
Damn it.
I mean, if I send you things for one of those, I mean, it would be made out of old speaker wire.
Oh no, you can't do that, man. I go straight Canthal. But Predator, what do you think about Show with the backwards compatibility? Do you think at some point in time they're going to invest in putting it on either the PS4 or PS5? I gotta say, I gotta chime in here and say that
ask me the question and answer it for me.
No, just real quick.
Yeah.
This is where I get my answers in. Being the moderator,
Go ahead, Predator, man. Bust your gun, bro.
Otherwise, I would never be able to share my opinion, man. But no, I think they can do it for the PS5, and I think that they will. I think they'll come up with an emulator. I think the hardware would be strong enough. But what do you think, Pred?
Oh man, why would they do that? They can just make a PlayStation Mini.
Oh,
there you go.
Wow. They back and they sell those first, man. They sell as many of those motherfuckers as they can.
Mini,
PS1 Mini, PS2 Mini. They don't need back and pat.
Yo, PS3 Mini comes with 2 games.
There you go. Remasters that kills the remasters, their little minis they got going on. That they wouldn't do that, man. I mean, now real talk. I think they will eventually do it, even though they downplayed it. When Microsoft did it, I think they see the value in it.
Yeah, nobody wants to play old games, man.
I mean, and the thing is, and I don't think anybody really wants to play old games per se. I think they just want them. Look back at your back and pat library of all the games that's come out so far since it was announced. How many of those games have you actually completed?
Oh, I still play SSX. Like, dude, okay. I was pumped when that
one
came
game.
Out. Yeah,
out of like
that's good enough, man.
200. So I mean, real talk. I mean, everybody has like their 5 games they want. They get them, and they probably never finish them in the first place. It's like you just want it. I want to be able to play it if I feel like it, even though I probably won't. So I mean, like I love the fact that it exists, but I don't think it's being utilized as much as people would like to think. I think just people want it.
But don't you think that's going to be kind of a non-issue going forward? Because if you think about it, like games today in last generation, those look.
Oh, my sound went out. 1 second, guys. It'll come right back.
Oh no! What happened?
No, it's good.
What happened?
I think the Angry Otter did some type of witchcraft ceremony, and it cut the sound out in my headset. So if the sound cuts out in my headset, that means nobody in the chat can hear what's going on. But now everything's good. You guys can be heard.
We're solid. I mean, I already moved on from my point.
Well,
I got you.
I
don't. Right though, like I mean, have you played those games? Like, if you play any of those old games, they play like shit. Like, you still have the same controls for some of those games.
Yeah, the PS1 and the N64.
They look like shit. They play like shit. Like, you want to play the shit that's like, these fucking. I got a 4K TV. I don't really want to play some fucking old school shit.
Yeah.
Really see how ugly it was, but
I'm a one and done guy. Screen, I don't go back to that shit after I beat it.
Well, with that, I actually got a question for Show. Then Show, what I gotta know what do you think about the PlayStation Mini? Do you feel like this is a generation that the PlayStation 1 generation would be a generation where you can come out with $100 piece of hardware and people will go and pick that up to play those 20 games, man?
I mean, those that want it is going to buy it, but I don't see that selling a lot. I really don't. You know, like you said, a lot of these games look like they were saying old, and you know what I'm saying, and we already don't beat it. I don't see a lot of people paying for that. It'll be a few, but I don't think it'll be a whole lot. So I don't really see it as something for real. You know, it's just something Sony tried to do to get money off of real quick.
You think that they were looking at Nintendo and the success with the NES, SNES minis?
Yeah, could be. I just don't see it as, like I said, something that's really dominant. You know what I'm saying? That they're gonna sell mass of these. You know, it's just gonna be a small handful to probably try it, but I don't see a lot of people buying that.
All right, well, guys, since we're talking about purchasing and stuff like that, let's move on to a topic that I found really interesting. There is a year in tech event called Argos, I believe. I got a hold of this. What?
You are correct.
Okay. All right. Now, in this, there was an article that was in the DM, I believe, and it's talking about the Xbox One sales growing twice as fast as PS4. And what they're saying here, basically, sales for the Xbox One X have grown by 22% so far this year. So I guess that's in comparison to last year. And it says it's dwarfing the 11% rise with the PS4 sales and 9% rise in Nintendo Switch sales. Now, I'm looking at this, and I really feel that this generation has been a success all the way around. I know PlayStation has sold, everybody and their grandmother a PS4. I understand that. But when you look at the other companies, they're not eating, freaking pork and beans out of cans or anything. They're doing good all the way around. And that's including Xbox.
Yeah, if a company doesn't disappear that generation within the first 2 to 3 years, they're doing good.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good.
People need to understand that, because usually when things go really, really south, guess what? They're gone. Partially into the generation. So
well, Don, I'm gonna go to you first then. What would be the meaning behind this article? What is there anything that you can pull from here in terms of information when it comes to Xbox or anything like that? I think the 9% for Nintendo Switch is kind of interesting, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But what was the intention of this article, man?
I think the perception is different than the reality, right? That there's always this echo chamber, and this exists in everywhere, right? But there's echo chambers that constantly make you try to get people to think a certain way, and it's not really the case. And we don't really know what's going on with Xbox in general, outside of their revenue is quite high. It's higher than anybody's. So obviously they're seeing success somewhere. The question is, where is that success being done? And most of it's in software, but it just kind of shows that, hey, there's more to this. This is just more information because we don't really have a lot of hard sales numbers when it comes to Xbox.
All right, now with this, what do you think this surge is with the Xbox One X? Is it because of kind of like the native 4K, the powerful console, that whole narrative? Like what?
I think that's part of it, but I also think function follows form and vice versa, right? So you have more 4K televisions out in the wild, and regardless of what two fans will argue about, the Xbox is hitting more native 4K games than any other console out there. So it becomes the default tool if you want to check out your latest and greatest toy that you just bought at Best Buy. I mean, that's just kind of what it really boils down to. Or if you want to, do 4K movies, that's the ecosystem you're going to have to buy into. Because I think that the S can do it, and so can the X. So, I mean, these are old drivers. Xbox kind of saw that trend going, and that's where you give Xbox a lot of credit is they realized where all this stuff was going and the importance of pushing it versus falling short of what these displays are needing. So
yeah, Microsoft they do have a habit of seeing the future. Sometimes they see a little bit farther down the line than consumers are kind of like ready for. I think we saw that in 2013. And we've seen it with other Microsoft products as well. I want to give a huge shout out to our boy Vogel, who has hit up the super chat. No, not only that, but he is a proud, you are proud, right? Sponsor of this channel. Yo, thank you so much, brother. Now,
man, if you want a good person to play Sea of Thieves with, always hit up Vogel if you're looking for someone else. that cat's a
him and K Mega
on a ship called the Republican.
K Mega's got to drive the boat though. That's the difference with K Mega. If you have K Mega, you just like keep in mind you better get off that wheel because he's going to be driving it. It doesn't matter if he's sailing the Republican, he is going to drive that boat. So,
all right.
K Mega loves some Sea of Thieves. Boy.
Oh yeah, he does. Yes, he does. And he plays. It's funny. He plays with the Don. I believe Flip Money as well. And
me and Mega have a little bit of a rotation just based on who's available at the time. Yeah, so Blades, Flip Money, Live will hop in sometimes. Vogel's,
I'm gonna have to get in there with you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got to follow us on Xbox Live, and we'll make it happen.
Nice, nice. Yo, Show, what do you think about this article? I'm not sure if you read it, but you heard the gist, man. They're talking about, according to last year, Xbox One X sales are up 22%, PS4 11%, the Switch 9%. Like, what are you getting from this, and why do you think the One X is kind of like the highest there in terms of the most sales, man?
Because of resolution.
That's why.
It's a lot of people that love, the latest and greatest stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I expect it to sell a little bit better than what the S was doing. So then Microsoft is making it easier for you to get one too. I don't know if they include the financing thing that they're doing with it to where you pay a small amount. So, a small amounts, a month, and you can pay it off, So, you just never know what boosts it, you know what I'm saying? So if I have to guess, it's a combination of everything.
I don't think the finance would show up on these numbers there, Show. But I'd be curious to compare these numbers to the next set of numbers. Or
it might be even higher. Because I've seen a bunch of people say they had got the X, through the financing program. So,
Oh wow.
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and get me a new Surface Pro through that bad baby.
Yo, Tim Dog got a Alienware computer through that whole thing as well. Our brother Tim.
Hey, yeah, it's cheap too. Well, they only want so much if your credit right though.
Your credit gotta be right.
Your credit gotta be right. Or they gonna tax that 19.99% or whatever it is. Read the fine print before you do it though.
Now, Show, I do want to say when it comes to this information, I want to put this out there. I don't when it comes down to it, this whole generation, we know PS4 has sold amazingly well. We got to be honest as gamers. Like, they can't just keep doing it. It's not a Wii that like people's great grandmother is picking up for the kids and stuff like that. It's not on that like kind of like hype train. So it has to hit like a peak and then start falling off. I feel that's also a reason why the PS4 is not as high. Do you think there's any kind of like, does that sound like common sense to you, man?
So what do you mean? Like, I'm trying to make sure I understand.
Yeah, they already sold so many PS4 consoles out there that it's bound to die down, and I think this is also kind of showing that as well in like a year over year. I mean, 11% is still really good for the PS4 in terms of how long it's been out. But it seems like everybody that was getting it has gotten it, and it is going to start kind of like doing that downward swing now.
Remember when the 360 and the PlayStation 3 launch? The PlayStation 3 came out the gate. Everybody was mad because of the price. And Microsoft capitalized on that early.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, but towards the end of the generation, everything kind of evened out. You see what I'm saying? So if Microsoft can step it up, but this generation is already over, it's almost like they said, forget it. You know what I'm saying? But if they can step it up and show something over the next 2 years, they probably can, you know, even it out a little bit, you know, because it's going to tail off. It all depends when they're going to launch the new hardware, and predictions is 2020.
Yeah, that's what.
So it's not really enough time. It's not really enough time for them to really do anything. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if people gonna just wait for that. You know, I don't know.
Well, so let me ask you then. I'm gonna ask you to pull out your crystal ball. All right. Now you see, kind of like, I know Xbox, they haven't really given out numbers when it comes to hardware sales, and at the end of the day, I really want to reiterate that Xbox is successful as well. There are a ton of Xbox Ones out there. People are playing the games. People are having a great time. Now, but pull out your crystal ball. Now, if this generation was as long as last generation, I think last generation went what, like 8+ years?
Yeah, I went 10.
So that, okay. Now, do you think with having the Xbox One X and having that kind of like power narrative, it would have also given them a couple extra years to come out with more like exclusives in this generation when it came to the box? Do you think there would have been a chance that it would actually even out?
I don't know, because the way they started out this generation, it was so much media hate on Microsoft. I mean, and that's embedded in people's minds. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think this generation was a loss from when Don Matrick said, you know, if you want to play on a platform, we got a platform for you. It's called the Xbox 360. You know, we got a device for you, and that's where you play that trash on.
Brother.
You know, and like I said, that I don't think a lot of people remember the hate that was on Microsoft for the always online and Don Matrick's cockiness that just sat and resonate in people's heart, and you still see people bring that up.
Oh yeah,
still to this day. You know, so that means it's really in there.
Yeah, it won't never go away.
It won't go away, man. It's gonna take them a long time to get that out of people's heart. Man.
That's like with Sony and the PS3 with that the hacking that went on with the PlayStation Network.
But see, that's the thing that I hate is, I believe Sony was on board with the DRM, the always online, because remember they got hacked too. The 360 got hacked. People was doing those little special boxes where you burn them on a disc, and you was able to get the full game from downloading them from the computer. And you know, you paid a website like $75 or $100 or whatever it was, and you was able to get every game, you know, on a disc, and then you was able to play it, and you was able to play online with it until they Microsoft started cutting it, you know what I'm saying, and start putting, you know, canceling those boxes and everything like that. Yeah. So that was the purpose for the DRM, for real. And for those that believe that Sony wasn't on board with that, I sit here and say this to you. You can't go away from something that's in your DNA. Everybody forget that Sony tried this a while, years ago, and they knew they got tortured for it when they had, through the Sony Music, it was called rootkits.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? And they was putting DRM on because they was trying to stop people from pirating their music.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to go through that again. So that was what it was called. It was rootkits. What it was, you couldn't burn that CD if you didn't own it. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't burn it to make a copy for nobody else. It was really locking it in to you. And everybody got mad behind that, and Sony got torched for it. And it was like people start, you know, bashing them and backing off of them. So what they did, they removed it eventually. But the backlash that they got for it, was crazy. So what they did, they let Microsoft go forward with it, and they capitalized and set back like they wasn't part of it. And that's the shadiness that I did not like about Sony.
Dude,
because they knew they was on board with it.
Dude, they were on board.
Heck, shit, it was on board.
Well, that's what people don't understand. So Sony had patents when Blu-ray was about to come out, that they would have an ability to lock very particular discs to very particular pieces of hardware. They had that patent all the way before the PlayStation 3 launch, after the Xbox 360 launch. No one knows. I mean, it's out there. It's public knowledge if someone wants to go digging. But
oh yeah, send me that knowledge, please.
but no one pays attention.
I'm dead serious. Send it to me where I can read it.
But no, I mean, it was reported like on IGN and other sites when they actually reported news.
Oh man, that far back?
Yeah, that far back. When they actually did news.
When they actually reported news, they don't do it no more.
So I mean, it's one of those things like piracy is something that I don't think it's really an issue kind of going forward, because really the main reason why the digital push was always such a thing is the piracy thing. Once you eliminate the whole piracy out of the equation, then or the trading in games at GameStop, like the problem kind of solves itself at a certain point, and developers can continue to make games, and it's really no big deal. So.
Right.
Let me chime in on this real quick, because we're talking about the year-over-year thing.
Yeah, I was about to bring it right back to you, Fred. Actually,
you're taking too goddamn long.
Hey, just jump in, man. Because that's how I had to just do it. I was sitting here waiting. I said, "Nah, we can't do this.
We can't do it like
this. Just jump in, bro." It's all good. Go ahead, bro.
The year-over-year thing, like you have to be careful when you start looking at those numbers, because it means different things. Like they could be talking about, let's say, like June of 2017. In June of 2018, or they could be talking about third quarter, second quarter 2017, which is 3 months, and second quarter 2018, which is 3 months. So like, when you hear year over year, don't think it's just like last year versus this year. It could just be a specific point in that year. So when you think of that, you have to think about what was out that time. I don't know what year, how they calculated that percentage, but you have to think about like things like, okay, what was out at that time of the year? Like what game dropped that year? What games didn't drop? What did Sony have? What did Nintendo have versus what did Xbox have? Because that might have been a determining factor. Let's say we had a blockbuster come out in May of last year, and Sony and Nintendo had nothing coming out. So yeah, our June last month would have looked a lot better because we had a custom console, or we had a new game that was advertised very well. So June last year versus June this year, might have increased or decreased that year over year total that you're looking at. So, I mean, I can't really determine that because I'm not looking at the numbers. What's that?
While you're talking, I'm taking another look on the article and seeing if they have a more specific time frame here.
Because we could have dropped the game, like we could have dropped State of Decay. Like we didn't have anything last year, but maybe State of Decay might have increased those numbers, for that time period they're discussing. And maybe last year, Nintendo and Sony had nothing out that time of the year, and so their numbers, might have been skewed a little bit. So just be careful when you look at those numbers like that, when you hear that financial data and shit, because you could be looking at something completely different than what you really think.
Well, it's grown by 22% so far this year, dwarfing 11%. And this is the only time gate they're giving us. Sales for the Xbox One X have grown by 22% so far this year, and this was September 27th. What was that? 2 days ago. That they came out with it. So maybe end of the fiscal year or actual like January 1st.
They're probably talking about quarters. To be honest with you, I would have guessed something about a whole quarter.
Yeah, and see, they don't give you enough information to tell you
this
what they
site
talk
sucks, man. No info.
Sorry to bust your bubble.
But see, the one thing I really found interesting, and it wasn't even on the Xbox side, was more on the Nintendo Switch side. And to me, it's because that's pretty much the newest like piece of hardware. You talk to other YouTubers out there and gamers, and they're saying this thing is flying off the shelves. So I was surprised that it was only a 9% boost. Anybody want to chime in on that? Yo, help me get to a level here, because I'm not understanding how it could only be 9%.
What was their last big hit? Octopath, but before that, what was it? I can't call that a hit.
Mario.
And when did that come out? Was that Christmas last year? No,
yeah, it was last year. It was before Christmas. It was around the holiday time.
like, I mean, they really haven't dropped any, you know, huge. I mean, you got like the little smaller, like the Dooms. I'll say smaller, but games that we've already played before on other consoles might have dropped, like Doom and stuff like that. But like, they're exclusives. Like, I think Mario was the last big one before Octopath came out. So I mean, you're not buying a Switch just to play something. Like, if you got a Switch, you got those games, you know. But if you didn't have a Switch, you weren't waiting and be like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get this shit now. So
Well, to me, to me, it's still funny because, like I said, it's the newest piece of hardware. Like, even though Mario came out holiday last year, that's only a year down. Like, you still expect a pretty decent climb, don't you? Like, when it comes to newer hardware, still selling in like really good volumes, though, right?
well, this goes back to what I was saying about the data you're looking at, the year-over-year data. So
Yeah, these
last
guys are
year-
trying to screw me, is what's going on.
last year you're looking at, you know, they had a couple of games out last year. This year they really haven't had a lot of games that will make people go buy a Switch. So yeah, it's down. I mean, like, what are you playing right now if you have a Switch and you've already beat all those other games? You're not really fucking with anything. Octopath isn't everybody's cup of tea, you know. So
Yeah, that there's a lot of people talking good things about it, but those are more people that are into like the classic, JRPGs and stuff like that.
We'll see that number spike up once they drop another exclusive. They'll win MPDs, and you look at that year over year for that time period again, you'll see it spike up again.
All right, well, and then this also goes for people who are on the front lines of those console wars, talking about the Xbox One X is selling like trash when it really isn't. There is still something with the power narrative. Being able to play your games on the TV that's in your living room, and more people are getting the 4K. I don't have a 4K yet. The Don is kind of teasing me on Xbox Live, saying, Forza Horizon 4 looks great in 4K HDR. Can't wait until you get that TV, man.
You ain't get a 4K TV yet?
No, not yet.
Oh.
Not yet. I did the smart thing. I got the Xbox One X before the TV. I had to pick and choose, what hardware first. And with the X, you got the super sampling, so you are still getting a better overall presentation to the game. And so I'll be able to go from Fat Boy Xbox One to the Xbox One X on 1080p, and then the Xbox One X on 4K. So I'm taking those steps up there.
What TV are you looking for?
Glaucoma, man.
What TV are you looking to buy?
I don't even know yet, man. I'm not D-Batch. I'm not next gen. I'm not like everybody's like 8,000 or 9,000 series and stuff. I don't really know anything like that. I'm gonna lean on my friends like the Don, Brian Baker, and hear what they have to say. Although Brian Baker might try to get me to spend I always look at the
I forgot what it's called. My brain went froze with it.
The latency.
The latency. Yes, that's what it is. I always look at that and making sure it's at a good number. Sony got the best ones though. Sony make the best TVs when it comes to latency. But they too expensive than a mug, bro. I mean, God, they taxing.
Yeah, so
for them TVs. That's why everybody go away from them.
Well,
they pricey with that TV, boy. My goodness.
I'm gonna hear what my friends say. I'm gonna do, some of the research myself and stuff like that, and try to come up with like what I call a happy medium. You know what I'm saying?
Man, when you're in the market, it's always gonna change, right? Like that's just. I mean, I'm on my third 4K television, and like when I bought my first set, it was like we're talking about like a year and a half or whatever.
Don, hold that thought 1 second. I just want to give a huge shout out to Michelle Alexandria for hitting up that super chat. Thank you so much for the support. Go ahead, Don.
No, you're fine. No, there's so much just changing that short period of time. And I really kind of fell myself in a situation where I didn't need a new television that was a new 4K HDR television, but just happened to someone owe me a favor and got a brand new one out of the deal. So I said, all right, I'm going to get a new one.
Don a favor.
Yeah, you never want to owe me a favor. It's a bad
deal. Well, guys, I do want to move on. I want to talk about the hype for this game that's going to officially release on Tuesday. And it's when I get to play it. And of course, it is Forza Horizon 4. This game is taking the industry by storm. You see reviewers talking nothing but praises for this. You hear people who got the Ultimate Edition. You see them on your friends list. This is what they are playing right now. I gotta ask, out of Showstopper, Predator, the Don, which one of you guys have been able to play the actual game? Picked up the Ultimate Edition?
I haven't played it yet.
So you haven't
I haven't
played
turned
it.
my Xbox on until
I haven't grabbed it yet. Yep, I haven't grabbed it yet.
So I would say that would mean the Don pretty much, right? Because you were sharing all those pictures and stuff like that. Dude, you got to let us know, man. What do you think about the game? Are you enjoying it? Give us your opinions, dude, so far.
Oh, well, I almost didn't show up on the podcast. If it weren't for we had a special guest, I think I would be playing it right now.
Yo, thank you,
Who is
Show.
the Dom? Who is the Dom?
Yeah, I had to make my presence known.
Kiss that ring.
Hey, he heard me say that. What was that? Well, who podcast was it? Craps? I was like, who is I was like, who is Dom? I was like, who is Dom? That's why when we started to show off everybody, I mentioned who in the world is Dom. If y'all ain't catch that, you know what I'm saying? What's in there?
We'll keep that joke rolling because I think that's great. No, I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's everything that you. It's funny to say this, but for Playground Games, it's what you expect. They won up what they did last time and. Just more better. I mean, some things are a little bit different, so I'm getting a little bit used to it. But outside of that, I don't know if it's because I'm not far enough into the game or not, if certain things are going to change or not. But the open world seems a lot smaller. That's one thing I will say. But what makes it bigger is because it has 4 seasons on the same map. So it's interesting. So when you traverse the world, it's substantially quicker to get across than I would say Australia. That's for sure.
All right, and how is navigating like the events and stuff like that? Because I know at one point in time, when it comes to Forza Horizon 3, I had to try to nitpick some type of negative aspect, and I said, after a while, you open up everything on the map, and you're like, yo, where the hell am I going right now? Is it still like that, or do you see?
It's not so much where the hell I'm going. It's I was gonna do this, but
there's
ADD
this here and this here and this.
ADD kicked in, and you forgot what you originally were gonna do because there's so much stuff going on. But that's the thing is, you're always having fun. You always have a smile on your face. You're always just motivated to go to the next thing that's going on there. I mean, I'm into the 3rd season. I realistically only bought 1 car. I'm like, what the hell? I haven't bought anything yet because there's so much going on. And then I'm like, next thing I know, I'm like, I went on a spinning spree just before the podcast.
So now you're itching to get back in just to start messing with your new toys, man.
Yeah, exactly.
He said he went on a spinning spree. And that game would have you buying all kind of stuff. Boy.
Yeah, when you get the Ultimate Edition too, you get more wheel spins and all sorts of other stuff. The customization of the characters, your character looks corny. Let's just call it, man.
Looks
Your character looks corny. When you have like Little Mermaid skinny jeans, like I'm.
Did you just say horny though?
Corny.
Oh my God.
I don't know where your bot line is.
Hey, man. Hey, Xbot. Wifey will be home in a minute, man. Calm down, bro.
She's bringing the second oldest kid home, too, as well, though. So
she'll be home, you know what I'm saying? Mel will be home in a minute. Calm down, bro.
I heard that same word like 3 times. I'm like...
He let his feelings out on the show. We all witnessed it.
It must have been a while, Show. It just must have been a while.
Welcome to the last episode of the next podcast. No, I'm just playing, yo. I'm just playing. But,
we gotta be man. This girl will stab.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she will stab.
Oh my goodness, man, that's funny.
Guys, I'm watching the show on the TV through the YouTube app on Xbox, and I gotta say, man, it looks amazing. That Halo gameplay is top notch. Guys, again, in the chat, I want to let you know that you can vote for who had the best gameplay. As we go into the next subject, I am going to get quiet for a minute because I'm going to type in to Twitter the poll. You're going to be able to vote between Showstopper, the Don, K Mega, or vote for Pred. So like that's where we're going with that. But
Hey, man, we've been doing prayer wrong on this show, man. Praying, man. I'm sorry, bro, man. You know, I feel bad, bro. You know, he just now shoot like air. He just now shoot last like and the prig.
You got to save the best for last. You got to have that hammer on the end to hammer that nail in, man. Show, you gonna get me in trouble, brother. Yeah.
Hey man, this is crazy, man. You know, it remind me of that scene off of me. Saturday Night Live had a show called "What's Up with That," right, with Keenan. And he had this one guest that never got on and got to talk. And you doing prayers like this, man. I'm like, wow. Man, go ahead and bust your gun, prayers, man. Come on, bro.
Yo, all right. Well, Pred, I got to ask you, everything that we know from Forza Horizon 4, you know, everything from how the game looks to pretty much how big it is, what they're doing with seasons. If there is one thing, when this game releases on October 2nd, if there is one thing to kind of like hang your hat on as what is going to make this game an absolute success, what do you think it is and why, brother?
It already is a success, so that's not even an issue.
But it's Ultimate Edition. No, on the official release, though, man, it's gonna blow up, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, what would be that one thing? What is that one thing that you feel? You gotta pick one thing that you feel would be at the heart of why it is getting as popular as it's getting, man.
I think just it's because it's the best racer out there. But I think, like, you know, Gran Turismo, I'll say kind of. So there's really nothing else out there as far as racers go that people can hang their hat on. I do like some of the stuff I've said. Again, I haven't played it, so I really can't say what the best feature of it is. But
I know you, man. You're into articles. You must have read like the features and everything.
I know a lot of people are like happy about the. It's not. I don't want to call it a track creator, but like you get to kind of create your own race.
Yeah.
Other people do that. I know a lot of people who are like Forza enthusiasts that are really excited about that, so they can create their own races and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know Xbox doing one.
Oh yeah, but I'm doing a couple. I'm gonna do the Crossfire Grand Prix. I'm gonna do the next podcast Invitational, the BGST Endurance Run. Man, I'm going all in.
And some people are just like really into like creating skins for their cars and stuff like that too. Like. I know people who do, that's all they do. They don't even race that much. They just
Xbox used to make some of the coldest cars back in the day. But I don't know if he still do it or not. But his cars, I'll be like, God, man, how you do that? Hey, I just had Betsy. It just said Showstopper on the side of that bad baby. Spray painted.
Yo, show, I'm getting back.
And was busting Xbox with it. You know what I'm saying? His car look all crisp. You know what I'm saying? The mine just had show on the side, rolling right past it.
Well, I look good, man. Even if I was in second place, I looked really good in second place. That's why I did that, man. But yo, I gotta say, out there in the chat, the panel, everything like that, just to let you know, Showstopper is a gamer. This dude, when it comes to Forza, he can drive. He surprised the shit out of me with Forza Horizon 3. We went in. And it was a lot of fun. If you guys get a chance, you got a game with this brother right here.
Oh yeah, man! I gotta start getting back on there. My gaming days normally be on Saturdays, like right now, but I'm doing the podcast. So it's taken away from my time.
That's when the hood party goes off, man. You gotta definitely join me, Mega, and the rest of the crew.
After the show, usually, you know, you'll find the Don K, Mega, everybody online getting into games and stuff like that. So
okay,
yeah, brother.
For sure.
But Show, what do you think, man? I know you've looked into Forza Horizon. I mean, you can go.
I like the weather in this one a lot more. Okay. I like the way the snow looked when I had seen some of it. You know, like I said, I ain't played it, but these are things that I'm excited about. You know, heavy cars for the traction on there. So I'm gonna be making quite a few cars. I know for different seasons and different weathers. So I can't wait to get into that.
Yo, Showstopper Monster Truck is gonna be coming through, man.
I'm gonna make the Xbox Green Monster. On the back of that bad baby, it'll say "Bot Boots."
Oh Oh no! I can picture this right now. Yo, Don.
It's gonna be costly.
Don, I gotta ask, if you have to pick like one thing, and I know it's kind of hard because this game, there's so much content, there's so many things going on, you know, in terms of being an open world racer, a game for car enthusiasts. But if you had to pick one thing as kind of like the heart to the success of Forza Horizon 4 moving forward, what would it be and why, man?
It's freedom. It's freedom of expression, but through vehicles.
Damn,
right?
That's better than my answer. I'm not even gonna say my answer now.
Well, it's that connection between man and machine, like that sort of thing. Is there's something there? I mean, we just get connected, and cars are one of those things that is that extension for us. And everyone's got a different personality, and then you express it through that. And like for me, like this is. Wasn't that excited about the location at first, but now I'm playing it, I'm pretty excited. But one of the things about Europe, I like the smaller, like 4-cylinder, like turbocharged
square cars,
rally cars. Like a lot of the stuff that doesn't make it here in the States. So this one's a blast for that. I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. A lot of the detail, like even this, like you guys are in the tree. If you have a 4K Xbox, cover your ears. You have a 4K HDR television right now. A lot of the details that you're getting from the streams, it's not there. Especially on the winter stuff, like the way the snow shows up and stuff like that. Like it really does make a difference. So, like it basically, you can't even see how the snow reflects in certain ways when you do it in the 60 frames per second mode versus the high quality mode. Like that's kind of the difference. Just in the resolution, this is one of the few games like the higher resolution does make a difference on what you visually can see in the game. It's pretty impressive. So.
Hey, I lost my train of thought. I was gonna say something, but man, dang.
Well, let me put in my one thing real quick.
Go ahead.
Showstopper, maybe it'll
come back because it was something. That's what. Okay, now I got it.
No, go ahead.
I like because he said freedom of expression, and one thing I like about Horizon over Forza is the community that's on that game. The community on that game is just it's beautiful. You're driving against your friends' avatars. Not only that, it's seamlessly. You can go in and out and play a game. It's not like a whole lot of loading time and all this little stuff. So it's just beautiful the way they did that game. And can't wait to get into it, man. I can't wait.
Me neither, man. I'm going the Game Pass route, so I'll be able to play it Tuesday.
Oh man, you went. Come on now.
I'm going Game Pass, man. I got
supposed to purchase that bad baby, man. Come on, bro.
Well, hold on. I got Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and I got Spider-Man.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Right?
I see what you're saying.
And with that, and with getting Spider-Man, it was a couple generous donations from my lady and one of my best friends that got me the game. So I'm gonna. That's why I like Game Pass, though.
That's what I wanted to ask you too, Dom. How is you playing it? Is you playing it with a controller or are you playing it with the steering wheel?
Playing with a controller right now. Like I have more control with the controller, believe it or not. The steering wheel there's a learning curve to a good steering wheel, and I think I didn't go expensive enough on the steering wheel because that's not because the steering wheel doesn't control well, but like it doesn't have the feedback the controller does because the controller has the rumble triggers and the brake and the gas and
you can feel it when you're in the curve and the turn and everything.
You feel when you're about to lose it, right? That's and on my steering wheel I can't feel it when I lose because there's no force feedback in the steering wheel, so there's no indicator I'm going too far. So I mean, my next steering wheel is probably. I'll probably spend a ridiculous amount of money on it.
I just hate how expensive these steering wheels is, man. I mean, goodness.
You want to go for something like it's like a mid-tier, I would say, is my guess. Learning from my mistakes. Nothing. You don't have to go to the top tier, but you don't want to go like. I have like the Thrustmaster, like Ferrari-looking one, which is really good. It has a really good mount, but there's no force feedback, so it's a lot more challenging. It's actually better for motorsport than it is Horizon.
Got you. Okay. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. I was typing it in while you guys were talking. I was typing it in.
I was talking to Predator. I was like,
I play the controller, man. I've played a steering wheel before, and And what Don says really good feedback because I didn't even think about that aspect of it, like the rumble triggers and having the steering wheel shake or something like that when you hit that gravel or something, you know. So I would miss that, but I've always played with a controller.
For some reason, I want to go steering wheel. I play on a controller too, but I want to go to the steering wheel route just to see how it feels. But I just look at them. I'm like, man, dang, that's a whole another $500-600.
Well, then you got the steering wheel, but you need a stand to put it in, right?
Stand to put it in, yeah. So that's another about 3, 4. Yeah, I'm like, God. So it's just really just finding the right.
Yeah, if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna go big. You know, I'm going big with that. If I ever do something like that, I want the stick shift and everything.
Yeah,
he's gonna get the whole case.
The thing is, you know what the thing is with what I hate is that each year they try to make you buy another one of them bad babies, man.
No, it's a one-time investment. You're done.
Yeah.
You're really done if you do it right the first time.
Okay. Because I was about to say, boy, my goodness, you know how they try to get over on you, make you buy all this trash all over again. No thanks.
Oh, this isn't compatible with the 1X. You gotta use it on the 1S.
Well, forwards compatibility, right?
You use on the Xbox. You can't use on your PC.
So,
yeah, don't lose me, man. I'll just pay for this trash, and I can't use it no more. Heck no. I'm mad.
Wow.
But go ahead.
No. I was gonna say I have one more subject, and it was something that wasn't in the DM. I'm looking at the time, and I'm not sure. I'm gonna leave it up to the panel. You know, with our special.
Real quick, what is it?
This whole like games as a service thing, because when it comes to like Forza Horizon 4, I feel like one of the things that's going to keep people playing this game for a long time is the fact how they have the daily activities, the weekly activities. They're going to change up content, you know, as they go through. Basically, they took a games as a service kind of like structure into this game, and I feel like that is going to be the heart of what really makes this game successful in the long run. And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, games as a service, you know, you're looking at like games like Destiny, you see Anthem coming out, you look at the popularity of Fortnite, I mean, even PUBG to a certain extent, because they said they're going to be adding in maps and modes and stuff like that. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, man, you know, last generation, we didn't really see anything like this. And, my kind of like our last topic here would be like, what do you think games as a service is going to do for the industry in the long run? Like, do you think it's going to take over? That majority of games are going to go this way, and like, do you think it's a good or a bad thing? So whoever wants
I want to hear Predator. I want Predator to go first.
Yeah, Pred, go first, man.
I don't think it's going anywhere. Look at it this way. All right, so if you have a game as a service game, that means that you got to have people constantly working on that game, correct?
Yeah.
Which means you always have people having jobs. You don't have these people getting laid off and shit like we've had recently with a lot of developers. You know, there's always something there for them to do. Because in the past, I guess they work on the game. Once the game's complete, they move on to another project, or I mean, Don can probably speak better on this. Move on to another project, what may actually make them have to move on to another company as well. So if they're with a game as a service game, let's say like a Forza or, you know, pick one, you know, Sea of Thieves, we'll use that for example. Okay. Those guys at Rare have job security. At least as long as they're working on that game, they're going to be able to work with that company unless they're just unhappy or they shut the lights off or something like that. I see this works for some games. It doesn't work with all games, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Gotcha.
All right. I mean, and the funny thing is here, when you look at it, you look at games on the PlayStation 4, and a lot of the ones that have really garnered like the most attention and everything have actually been the single player. So I'm thinking to myself, are they going to stick to that mantra, or are they actually? Is Sony going to get some of their first party to do a game as a service as well, like moving into the next generation? Are they going to?
Sony don't make online games. Be honest.
So don't. And you know what? In the beginning of this generation, they promised online games. That's why PS Plus was you had to pay for it in the beginning, but they didn't deliver on the games for that. So they just removed it, and so it's free now. So but yeah. They was. I was waiting to see an online game. I think the only one that they did was what Killzone.
Killzone.
Yeah, and dude, I have that game. I bought that game. I accidentally went over the 7-day because it was a pre-owned game at GameStop, man. And dude, I could not get into this game. That game might be the worst game I have played this generation. Graphics look really good. Everything else about the game was absolutely horrible, man. And
you know what the worst game? You know how they get on us about Zoo Tycoon?
Yeah.
No, the Zoo Tycoon game. Mm-hmm. Man, they got a game on their console. It's a open world GTA dog edition.
What?
It's called Home Free. I don't know if you can pull that trash up, man, to show everybody, man, but
oh no, I can't. But I'm gonna look into it, though. Open world GTA.
It's an open world GTA dog edition. Yes, I kid you not, man. It's called Home Free. They love to get on us about the zoo and all this trash, but when you look at this, when you look at this daggone man, this dog man is getting broom swung at him, getting bullied by other dogs, and you just running the whole time. It's just trash.
Oh no, yo, show I'm gonna look.
It's trash. Hey Predator, you looking at it? You looking at that
trash? It's worse than Life of Tiger.
Oh no.
Oh my God! So I laugh at them, man, when they poke fun. You know, I gotta throw a little jab in there, but I laugh at them when they poke fun at us. I mean, y'all got some games on there that's just ain't up to snuff neither. So
yo,
stop this trash.
Hold on. Let's be real here. When we had to connect and everything like that, I played Zoo Tycoon with the twins, man. And we had a blast, like having the animals like do the same faces that we were making and stuff like that. That was a crazy family game, man. And I don't know why they out there hating on it, yo. But yo, Don, I gotta ask you, being a developer, like you kind of have to look towards where the industry is going and everything like that. So what do you see in terms of the influence with a game as a service? You see it gaining popularity. Do you think it's gonna like turn over to be the majority, like going into next generation? And can you see like Sony, because they've been a lot of like single player experiences, can you see them coming out with a game as a service, like moving on with their newer hardware in the future, man?
Well, I think it's important to kind of understand what games as a service is and what it does for the publishers and the developers. What it does is it essentially lowers the risk. That's the whole point of it. So you're keeping your game relevant for a longer period of time, because the hard reality is the majority of your sales with any sort of like game is 6 months. That's usually the window of where you're going to get the most sales. Obviously, the first month is the hot month, and the second month starts tapering, and, et cetera, et cetera. But when you're talking about games as a service, you always have you always have content that's relevant. So what it does is keeps people engaged longer, allows people to continue to invest in the game. So microtransaction, things like that, make it feel like they get the worth out of it. The thought process is people continue to invest as well. So these games will have a drop off, and then next thing you know, the hope is the next DLC that they have a spike again, and it's relevant once again. And so when you look at Sony and what they're doing with their first party games, a lot of that sort of stuff it's just high risk is what it boils down to. It's not a reflection on the quality of the product. It's just a high risk, betting it all on that 6 months to make everything they need for the production value that they put into it. So that's what it really boils down to. I don't think genres die in gaming, and I don't think all business models die. I think certain games work good for certain business models and vice versa. I mean, there's certain games that weren't originally free to play, and then also ended up being free to play later, and they found success.
Yeah.
So it's about making the game that you feel like your studio can do, with coordinating obviously with your publisher, and find the right business model that makes sense for that type of game. So for me, I think there's only so many games as a service games that can really thrive out there, because they are time sucks as far as all that sort of stuff goes. So, there's something to be said about turning on a game, and people always make fun of games that are kind of one and done. I kind of enjoy those sometimes because they give me a start, a middle, and an end. I have a sense of accomplishment that comes along with those games. So,
dude, like Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Exactly.
I have been into this game, and the further I get into this game, I'm thinking to myself, and I'm like, yo, I have no problem after I beat this game, unless the ending is complete trash. I have no problem going back and playing it again. So it's not, for me, it's not necessarily a one and done.
They have 8 DLCs.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the core game.
But if you like that core game, and so that's the whole thought process. So I think I like that model a lot. It's funny you mentioned Shadows of Tomb Raider, because it has a beginning, a middle, and end. I have no problem going back and playing that just like you.
Yeah.
But what's cool is if I continue to really like that and you make a really good game, guess what happens? Oh, they have some DLC. Oh, there's some new content, some new story content I can do that's totally separate, and they have 8 of them. Yeah, I'm gonna try those things. I'm gonna try those things out if I find it entertaining. Anywhere along the lines I feel like they fall short, I'm not going to continue to invest. I'll move on.
Right.
So that's a good example of something that's really is a game of a service, but it also follows the old traditional model as well. So there's a lot to be explored in these areas in regards to that. I mean, people always bring up Destiny, but not everyone does it like Destiny.
Yeah, I didn't care for Destiny at all.
Oh man, welcome to the last time you're on this show. But now I'm just
I really, I don't know if I was turned off just from the beta, because when I played the beta, I just didn't care for it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care for it.
Man, dude, I get hung on this show by the panel, and even sometimes by the chat for bringing up Destiny 2, and I didn't do it this time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else did. Thank you very much.
But
that's
going on and on about it.
That game, I'm sorry, man.
About.
To show that game is trash. I'm sorry.
I'm having. You know what? I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it right there. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna do it, man. Yo, guys, we have hit that 2 hour. And I gotta say, I had an absolute blast. Yo, show. I hope we did our best to make you feel comfortable. I hope you. I hope you had fun with us. The next podcast. Unfortunately, 2 bums had to leave early, but that's all right. We're not gonna hold it against them.
It's kind of weird that they left at the same time.
Ooh.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I actually think he didn't go to this this other podcast he had to go to. I think he had tiptoed to go play Forza.
No, I'm watching his achievements right now. He's not guilty of it
yet. Hey, he probably turned them off to you like, I want to get busted.
Yeah, no, I'm on this other show. Dude, do I hear a car in the background?
What's going on? I hear something weird happen.
Yo, show, you know K Mega, he had there is no shame in his game. He will play the game as he's on the podcast.
Oh yeah, he sure would. K Mega don't care.
Just so you know, Bob, we thought about that actually.
Yeah, I know. But guys, like a 40-year-old with a comb over, man, we gotta get those plugs in, and I gotta start with our special guest, Showstopper. Again, it is great to have you back in the community, back on your channel, man. Why don't you let people know exactly where to go? I have it on the screen as well. You can see his YouTube right there. It's in the description, but Showstopper, tell them, man. Tell them where they can get a hold of you.
You can get a hold of me on my channel, which is Showstopper2121, or on Twitter, which is Showstopper2123. I'm there. If you follow me, I try to follow everybody back, but some people you just can't follow back. You gotta look into them a little bit, because
dude, I got blocked today on Twitter.
I had so many. Hey, you know what's funny? I had looked in that conversation, and he gave me a compliment, but he was hating on you, which is just weird. I was sitting here like, he said here. He said one thing. He said the only person on there I like is Showstopper. He's hilarious. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the he said ex-twats that I don't want to go to war with. I said what? I said thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? These four-legged beasts know better. But other than that, man, I'm cool, man.
Nice, brother. And dude, it was a lot of fun, and I hope you come on the show again. You know, maybe K Mega and Optimus will actually stay for a whole show. We'll have to see. But let's move on to Predator here. Yo, Pred, whatever Showstopper said, don't believe him, man. You know you're my brother, and I would never do anything to cut you short on this show.
I'll deal with your ass later.
Yeah. So,
hey, the whole time I was singing, "Ooh wee, what's up with that?" From that skit from Saturday Night Live. I'm telling you, boy, he was doing you like that dude, man. He just invite him on there and didn't let him talk at all, man. It was just crazy.
Yo, I didn't give his ass no gameplay this week.
See, maybe I was upset about that, man. Maybe I was upset about it. But
what are you talking about? Predator _H2OS on Xbox, on PlayStation, on I don't even know where the fuck I'm at anymore. YouTube, everything basically. I'm the same everywhere. Make sure y'all hit me up, and thanks for having me on. Thanks for having Show on today for the first time.
Hey, thanks.
Awesome. You actually, like, I don't know if you remember this, but I hit you up right when I started my Twitter, and you were like, dude, if you're gonna do a channel, be yourself. So that's what I've been doing. So appreciate the advice, and glad to have you back here in the community.
Nice. Oh, did we
lost Show?
No,
I give him a compliment, he leaves.
He's like, no, you, I'm out of here, man. Yeah. All right, well, yo, Don, You know the drill, man. We've done this many times. Why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you, and what you might be up to in gaming community, possibly your YouTube channel.
Man, you keep pushing that, aren't you?
Yeah, I do, man.
Yeah, apparently, Bob wants to see content.
I kept pushing the Devin the Gamer, and look what happened, man.
Baby steps. But the best way to know what I'm doing is follow me on Twitter, which is the Don KTR, not who, but
you saw that, right?
Yeah. But you know, that's the best way to follow me. Also follow Bot so you can vote for the gameplay and all that sort of stuff. And I think it's one of the first times we've had a guest as far as voting, so that's kind of a unique experience. So definitely hop on that. And that being said, I'm going to be playing Forza, and I may even stream. So if you guys are curious about the game and all that sort of stuff, I'm willing to watch some of ADD. Let's go for it.
All right. So if you're streaming, are you going to stream on YouTube or Mixer?
Mixer.
All right. So if you stream on Mixer, I'll host it as well, man.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. You want to just host it on after this?
Yeah. As soon as I see you go up, I'll go on my Mixer channel and I'll host the stream.
Sweet. Yeah.
Right.
That either way.
All right, beautiful.
Hey, Xbot, real quick.
I didn't do it.
Hey, did Dark put gameplay in this week?
Yes, he did.
You didn't put him on the pet.
You can't. You only put 4.
I know. I didn't put any gameplay in.
That's all right. He left early. He doesn't count anymore.
Oh shit! All right.
All right.
Go for prey.
Oh man, don't do him like that.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. All right, I'll see what if I have to take it down and then redo it. I will. Okay.
All right.
But on that note, guys, it is Saturday, and the gamers got a game. We got to get our controllers in our hands. Huge shout out to everybody who checked out the show live tonight, and of course everybody who checks out the show afterwards. I know. You know, not every fan can get in here on a live show, and we really do appreciate the support. We were one shy of hitting that 100 mark tonight in terms of people watching, so thank you guys for all the support. And I'm going to say it the way I say every Saturday. We will check you out next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Later.
Brain dead, eye drops, pain meds, Cyclops, day bed, iPod, Maybach, my buck, train wrecks, sidewalks, pay less, high tops, K-Fed.